It's 5:31, and we're calling the meeting to order. Now we will begin the public hearing of the Board of Trustees, and we're going straight into the discussion and presentation of the San Benito CISD's proposed tax rate. Ms. Mata will be coming to the podium.
Good afternoon, Board. Dr. Cruz, Board members, Mr. Perez. I'm going to go over the publication that was posted in the newspaper for our public hearing for the tax rate. So you should have received in your packet, it's a one-page notice. And I'm just going to go by section. Do you have it? Yes? Okay, just making sure. Okay, for the maintenance tax, the proposed tax rate is 76.7632 of $100. For the INS, which is to pay our debt payments, is 0.29547. So that's what our tax rates will be. That's what you're going to actually approve at the actual board meeting when we go into that. Comparison.
Can you repeat the amount?
For the M&O, it's 0.7632, and then for the INS, it's 0.29547. For the comparison of proposed tax rate for last year's budget, again, this is just this year versus last year where we're at. For the maintenance and operations, that was a decrease of 0.89%. For the debt service, it's 2.94%, and the total expenditures decrease of 1.03. The appraised tax value, I'm going to read the current value. You can see the last year's comparison. So our property values did increase. It was across the valley, actually. The total appraised value for all property in San Benito is $2,480,158,389. The appraised value for new property was $41,367,029. The taxable value for the all property is $1,392,836,351. And for the new property, the taxable value is $35,605,901. Our total bond indebtedness, which is what we owe in all our bond payments, is $82,035,000. The comparison, this is where we compare the tax rate from this year to last year. And so last year, we were at 1.0116 for M&O, and we're going down to a proposal of 0.7632. And just to remind you, that seems like a lot, but remember that we have to submit throughout the summer to TEA our property values. Then TEA, by August 31st, sends out an email and lets us know this is the max that you can do for M&O, and then we add whatever the pennies that we had approved by the voters to that. So for us, the amount that TEA approved for San Benito was 0.6432 plus the 12 cents, because remember we lost that 1 penny last year. It'll be 0.7632, so that's how we got our M&O rate. But just to show, yes, it's $1 versus 0.76, but that's what TA allows us to approve. Now for our interest in sinking, again, last year was 0.2799, and we're going to 0.29547. So those pennies went over to the INS side, okay? The total tax rate last year was 1.2915. This coming year, it'll be 1.05867. Again, that's the maximum we can have without a voter-approved election, okay? Any questions on that? So I'm gonna go back down to the comparison of proposed levy, and this is on the average residence here in San Benito. The average market value of residence is 309, I'm sorry. The average taxable value of residence is 51,710. The last year's tax rate was last year's rate is 1.05867 is this year's. So the taxes due on an average residence is $547.44. So that's $66.85 less than last year. This might change because remember in November, they're having on the ballot for the taxes to go from a $40,000 exemption to a $100,000 exemption. And that if it does pass, which they're assuming that they will, they will get new tax bills and so forth, and it'll be retroactive and so forth. So that's still up in the air based on whatever the election.
So it'll be retroactive from the date it's approved or back to the,
We were told that it'd be retroactive for this tax season, so the 2023 tax season. So when we submitted this, we had to submit two different numbers. We had to submit the current one, which is a $40,000 value, and then the $100,000 value. And so we already submitted all that to the state during the summer. So then they did tell us that if it is approved, and like I said, they're more than likely, they're looking as if will be approved again. It's a vote by the whole state, so we'll have to wait and see.
So with that, with the pending vote on that, are the increase and the decrease would be more?
In essence, our local taxes would decrease, but our state funding would increase. Okay?
is there a percentage that you're thinking it's gonna?
I ran the numbers. I don't have them with me though. I can run them again, and I'll share it with y'all at our next board meeting. It'll be like in 2 weeks.
Okay,
Is that fine?
thank you.
Then the last portion of this is the fund balance, maintenance and operations, is 51,307,504, and we do not have one under INS. So I did mention during our committee meeting that, remember that, 1.2 million that, we were getting back from TEA due to the IFA EDA applications that we've been waiting for since last year. We did get it, and like a little bit before our August payment, and we did use it already to make our August payment. So we did receive that funding. So we didn't have to move money from general fund. So that was good. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, the proposed tax rate is a public hearing, so are there any questions or comments from any of the audience? Okay, so we are gonna adjourn this meeting at 5:39.